Campaign advisor who's been sucked into the middle of all this, sat for interviews with Mueller's investigators not long ago, and he joins us tonight. So, Michael, you said recently in another interview that you became aware when you were working on the campaign during 2016 of another potential spy working on behalf of intel or law enforcement agencies controlled by Obama. Tell us what you know about that.
Well, I've discussed publicly for the last couple of days an early May approach to me by a former government contractor in the national security arena who, through an intermediary, tried to get to me and tell me that the NSA had Hillary Clinton's emails and that we could get a hold of them if we wanted them. And this conversation continued for a couple of weeks, and I eventually told them I had no interest because I thought they would be classified material. And as a former Army veteran who held a top-secret clearance, I knew that was fraught with peril.
And you believe that was, in effect, a trap designed to lure you into compromising the Trump campaign in some way?
I'll tell you what, Tucker, for 2 years, I didn't know what it was. I gave the information to the House Intelligence Committee, the Senate Intelligence Committee, and the Mueller investigators when I sat with them 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and they didn't seem the least bit interested. I didn't know what to think of it. 2 years, I scratched my head. The intermediary, who's an old friend of mine, we talked about it over dinner dozens of times. We couldn't figure out what it was. And then the news came out about the spy latching on to the members of the Trump Campaign Policy Committee, and the light bulb turned on over my head, and I realized if this wasn't a dangle of some sort from the whatever FBI and whatever, this was strange enough where I needed to bring it to the public. I knew the investigators weren't interested. They didn't even take notes when I told them about it. I thought I should bring it to the public. Now,
may I stop you there really quick? I'm confused by that.
Sure.
So that's pretty close to the heart of the topic that Mueller is purportedly investigating and consuming all of this money and all of our attention investigating. Why would they not be interested in hearing more about that?
Right. I mean, if the U.S. government had Hillary's emails in early May when this government contractor was telling us we could get them, then why aren't they interested? I got to tell you, that's what really set off a red flag for me, because they just didn't seem the least bit interested at all. They didn't even take notes. I offered them the timeline I was reading from in my interview, and they didn't take it.
That's just absolutely remarkable. We've been following your personal story for a number of months now, and you got sucked into this, I think, and it's turned your life upside down. Do you expect to have more contact with Mueller's investigators?
Well, I brought this to the public just last couple of days, and there's another approach to me that was done in late May, or the last half of May, by somebody who I believe was organized by the investigators. I can't talk about it on television because I think, the Mueller team wanted to talk about it a lot, so much that I think they sounded like the authors of it. I want to talk about that with the DOJ Office of Inspector General. Now that I know that they're responding to the president positively and they're looking into these dangles in front of the Trump campaign, I want to talk about both of them. The one I talked about in public, the former national security government contractor who came to me through an intermediary in the first week of May, and this other approach that happened in the last half of May. My attorney is writing a letter to the Office of the Inspector General asking to be invited to testify on this.
Well, I hope you will be, because unlike Mueller's investigators, I am interested. Michael, thank you. Great to see you.
Well, I'll tell you, Tucker, you see these FBI agents that want to go in as well.
Yeah.
They're asking for subpoenas so that they go in and talk to the IG about what they saw sitting in the office at the FBI. There are a lot of great men and women who are line agents at the FBI who want to talk, and I want them to know, if they're watching, they don't have to wait for a subpoena, because I know those legal fees are really expensive. Our legal fund at Caputo, legalfund.com, we'll pay their legal fees.
Well, good
if
for
they
you.
go to the Inspector General.
Because
if they
they're
go to the
the
Inspector General and reveal what happened, we'll pay their legal fees.
Well, and their work has been besmirched. There are a lot of decent FBI agents, many of them, and they must be the maddest of all.
Most of them.
Most of them. Michael, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Mexico's top politicians, all four of them, agree on one thing. Their country should continue to funnel migrants into the U.S. Is it time to